something? I'll just say, and we've already lost someone. I'll say that, hey, everyone, this is Steve Weintraub, editor-in-chief of Collider, and I'm thrilled to be moderating this live and absolutely punk rock panel for The Expanse with these great people. How's everyone doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I like how we started and already lost two people. Hopefully they'll be, wait, we got some stuff. Listen, this is going to be definitely what I call punk rock, because I'm sure we're going to have some technical difficulties. Just bear with us. It's live, and this is not and hi, hello to Japan. You know what I mean? So I'll wait for Dom to click back in, and then I'll get started.
Sorry, I'm back.
So I got a ton of
Just
questions
carry
about.
on. I'll come back in and out if it goes weird again.
Like I was saying, I have a ton of questions about all 6 seasons, but I want to start with what I call get to know your Expanse cast member. And that is going to be where, and this is not a joke, I have 30 questions that we're not going to ask all 30. And I'm going to ask each of you to pick a number, and then I will ask you that question. And there's a lot of random stuff in this. So I'm just going to start with the way it's on the screen. Kara, give me a number.
420. I'm so stupid. 10.
Okay. What role taught you the most about yourself?
Drummer.
Really?
No. In this show, definitely drummer. No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely the longest. I was playing this character for so many years, and through so much of my life, I joined the show as a fan. I loved season 1. So I was so profoundly afraid and so in awe of this world that had been created that I was stepping into. So to face that fear, and then, seasons later be giving this most epic speech about, the nature of fear and driving into the unknown, and having that arc in my life at the same time, it was years and years and years that we did this, and we made the best of friends and made this beautiful art. Absolutely. I learned so much about myself and life and the universe on this role.
Sure. Thomas, pick a number between 1 and, I just realized I should mark these off, 1 and 30.
9. I'll take
number 9. What project scared you the most before saying yes?
Gosh. Jeez, what scares you? I mean, are we talking about The Expanse? The Expanse?
No. It could be anything in your career.
Okay. Well, I got cast as a professional baseball player in a movie that Billy Crystal directed called 61, and that baseball player was Mickey Mantle. That scared the hell out of me because. And by the way, as an actor, when you go in and, they're like, so how are you with baseball? I'm like, great. I've been playing since I was 4. My swing, I can hit from both sides of the plate. I didn't know a goddamn thing about baseball. Never played a day in my life. I played stickball as a kid, but it doesn't count. So yeah, that scared me. They hooked me up with a guy named Reggie Smith, who was the number 2 switch hitter behind Mantle. And he also had a baseball camp out in the valley here. And that guy in 2 months turned me into a ball player. Wow. And without him, I was flailing, and he knew it. When I came in, I showed up on the first day with Billy Crystal and Reggie, and he's looking at me, and they're both looking at me like, good luck.
That's everybody.
So yeah, that was scary.
Jared, pick a number between 1 and 30.
23.
Number 23. What's the smallest detail you obsessed over for a role?
Oh, God. It's going to be something to do with an accent and, like, you know, some sound that you couldn't you just struggled to hear. You know, I mean, that's always the thing with doing accents. There's always like there's one sound that you end up having a really hard time distinguishing, and you keep sort of reverting back to what it is, and then your dialect coach just slowly gets more and more frustrated with you, and you just do the exercise where you've got pages and pages of just a word that has that sound in it. You know, it'd be something to do with that, I guess. Not a very interesting answer, but
It's great. Steven, pick a number, 1 to 30.
17.
17. Do you have a personal shortcut to get into character?
Ooh, personal shortcut. That actually does relate to the Expanse. Physical things really help me out with sense memory. So for Holden, for example, the XO badge that he gets in that first episode was in my pocket the entire run of the show, the whole way through, all the way through season 6. And the weight in my pocket just helped me get back into character. It was the same thing on Magic City where I had this pinky ring that gave this weight to my hand when I smoked a cigarette that would just transform the way I walked and held myself and felt. So yeah, it's like little physical objects that I could kind of imbue with some sense memory that kind of drops me into where I need to be.
Sure. Dom, pick a number, 1 to 30. And can I say Dom or should I say your full name? I actually don't know.
Oh, it's fine. Either is fine. I'm going to do 24, my day of birth.
What's something audiences never notice but you wish they would?
What do you mean? About a character?
No, I mean, it could be about a character. It could be about making a show. It could be about, you know.
Oh, I tell you what, I think a lot of people, which I think is sometimes testament to the quality of someone's work, forget that we're acting. And I feel like there's so many times when people are like, I met someone the other day who's an Expanse fan, and they was just like, I was so confused because you smile so much. And I went, it's called acting. And they were like, yeah, I guess. And I just really think like sometimes people just don't understand that we are telling story and channeling other people's lives. And so I feel like that would probably be my thing of just like, I know there is that thing where people cast people to play themselves, but I think more often than not, people are engaged in the craft and are channeling another human. So yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. Frankie, a number between 1 and 30.
I'll do 5.
What's the last movie or TV show you watched that you want to recommend?
Hated Rivalry. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Hated Rivalry. Watch Hated Rivalry and thank me later.
You're all welcome.
Okay, we can do one more round of this, or let me jump into something else, actually. I got some other fun questions for you guys before we get into season 1. Let's start, and this is for all of you. Let's start with the most important question up front, which is, how many of you have played The Expanse, a Telltale series, and what did you think?
What's that?
Sorry, what?
None of us have.
What is that you say?
Guys,
None of us
Sorry,
have.
Kara, it's not you.
I haven't played it. I played the first 2, I don't know, what do you call them? Episodes? Chapters? Things? With Frost, our game director, we filmed ourselves playing it. I was actually, it was him playing it and me cheering him on. Like a loser girlfriend. Like, oh my God, I'm saying it out loud. I'm so embarrassed. But it was actually really fun.
But hang on, it's you in the game. So
Yeah.
not
So
that
not
much
really.
of a loser girlfriend, really, eh?
That's why I love you. Thank you very much.
That's pretty hot
Really
girl
fun.
shit.
Yeah, I read it. I mean, I read it.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Hey.
Oh, a
I've only
board
got the board
game.
game. I don't even have that.
We're all
There it
going to your
is.
house.
Wait, what is all the stuff you guys have got, and why didn't I get it?
I don't have
Because
that.
you're in New Zealand,
This was
babe.
this was a pandemic purchase.
Oh, it was a
Nice.
purchase. Well done. You bought it.
Is it fun?
Huh?
Is it fun?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of weird when you're playing games and you go, everybody because you do. And then it's like,
I left. I didn't see
I'm a
coming.
total actor. I first of all checked to see if I was in it, and I'm not.
Oh, now the real thing comes out.
I have to say that I do think that watching you guys play the Expanse board game would be kind of funny and awesome.
Totally.
We could all play as each other. Yeah. Hang on.
As long as the Belters win, yeah.
Yeah, as long as the Belters win. But I'm going to play as Bobby. Okay.
You play as Bobby. You play as Bobby.
We'll move on to the next question. If you guys could cross over with another sci-fi series, if the Expanse could cross over with another sci-fi series, what would you love to cross over with? And obviously, let's go with series.
Star Trek.
Blade Runner.
I mean, Blade Runner.
Ooh, I like that.
Is there a Blade Runner series?
Not a series, though.
It is
Actually,
soon.
yeah, there is a Blade Runner series that's been shot. It's coming.
Same studio. So maybe we'll have it in.
That's
I
right.
can see Thomas Jane as the Harrison Ford character.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
He was my hero.
Miller is that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For
I think
sure.
we should cross over with Andor.
Oh, clever.
That was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was great.
If it was a film, I'd say Black Panther. Because I just think we could get the Wakandans involved with saving the Belters. And I think that would be amazing.
All right.
I can see that.
Okay, so I want to jump into actually a little bit of specific stuff, which is I think every once in a while a TV show comes out that has an amazing opening, and The Expanse just has a phenomenal title sequence. And what's great about it is that it changes all the time. I never wanted to forward over it, and I think that's one of the things that fans like. It just has a great song, it has great music, it has great visuals, and it just pulls you in. So I guess for the people that want to answer, what was your reaction when you first saw it? And because it's just very impressive. And did you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is just like a real kick-ass thing that's going to really help us?
Kara, do you want to tell them or shall I?
Please go on. Please tell them.
No, you go.
Well, I just think it's important to say that if you don't sing the theme song at the beginning, if you don't sing along with it, then you're not a real fan.
Because we sing along with it every time we hear it.
Yeah.
And we'll be in a screening watching some of the episodes and we'll be in full voice singing it. So no, but that aside, it is actually so beautiful, and the way that it changed over the seasons to factor in what was going on in the show was so gangster. I love that about it, and I just think it sets up the tone of the show so beautifully as a piece of music. It's the wonder of what music can do for film, and I think there's nothing worse than a terrible score over it can ruin a piece of story. So I know we're talking about the theme tune, but I think it really is just tells you what the show is. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's a great tonal setup, and we all sing it before we go. And mind you, none of us know what the words mean. Just so you know, just so you know that. I think it's like Norwegian or something, but it does set the tone regardless of not knowing the words.
You don't need to know the words. You just have to have the spirit of the Expanse in you.
And a bit of opera training, I think.
Yeah, I don't
The next thing is, when you guys were filming, were there any running jokes on set or traditions that went on behind the scenes that people don't know about?
So many.
We were also separate shooting. I shot one scene ever with Frankie Adams.
That's
But for
wild.
my
Oh my
world,
god.
in my world, Rice Krispie o'clock was a big deal when catering would
Yes.
come around at 5 o'clock.
Tara loves Rice Krispies so much. It was her wedding cake.
It was a wedding cake, and it was amazing.
It was delicious.
I remember David would like make fun of me because I would see the Rice Krispies coming and I would gasp and he'd be like, "Are you serious right now?" But then he would eat them as well. So.
I actually want
to. I remember finding out that Stephen was a black belt, and I went, "Oh, good. When we go out, like we can start trouble, and he can get us out of it."
Yes.
Always a helpful surprise.
Did you guys? I know the thing that a lot of people don't realize about making a TV show is it's really, really long hours. And often, as you were saying, like you might be filming and no one else is filming and they're, you know what I mean? Like, but when you were making the show, like in season 1, season 2, when you guys were all on, did you ever go out for like group dinners or like things like that? Like, and what were those experiences like once the show was on? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, did we ever?
A
lot of red wine.
The one thing we like to do is hang out with each other. So like
every Sunday and do a read through?
Yeah.
Rehearse
every Sunday.
Yep.
And then we get curry afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. We literally rehearsed every Sunday from episode 1 to the end of the series. We never missed an episode. So we would all get together every weekend. We loved it. I mean,
what a great help that was.
Oh man. Yeah. It's just like, and it was just because everyone wanted to be there, it was all voluntary. So like, I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. It's like, we all just wanted to be together, shooting or not. And I think it really comes through in the show. That's, why that energy is there.
It's the only show that I've ever done that the crew would come back year after year. Yeah. Whatever job that they were doing, they'd find a replacement and then jump onto the Expanse crew. And so we had basically, there was a few people here and there, but basically we had the same crew. And that was a special experience. I got to tell you, whatever was going on with the energy of the Expanse was something that people wanted to be part of.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to do a follow-up. So you get together every Sunday. What exactly does that entail? Is that something where like at noon or at 2 p.m.? Like, and where are you meeting? And like, how long is the rehearsal for? Like, I just want to dig in a little bit on this.
Sure.
So we would like hire out a boardroom in one of the buildings that we were staying in, and we'd all gather in there, and it would be like a read through of the week's work. And then sometimes we'd put scenes on their feet, like we might go to the set and put them on their feet if they were quite complicated. But it would mostly be like a read through, a discussion of themes, making sure we were all on the same page, any questions, any lines we felt might need a little massaging. But it was like it wasn't full like rehearse the scenes, but it just put us all on the same page.
The director would always be there, and sometimes we'd have a writer, to be able to play with stuff, or if we felt like we might need to make some adjustments. So people were committed.
Yeah,
it would last as long as it lasted. When you figured out, and actors would come in, we're like, we don't need you till 4 o'clock because you're just in the scene at the end of the day, and people would file in and out. It was wonderful.
It was good. And if we couldn't get boardrooms, we'd meet at someone's apartment. We'd just make it happen, make it work.
Yeah. And and even towards the end of the last few seasons, when we would open up the stages and we would block out the week's work. I mean, that's why you see sometimes these really elaborate oneers that happen in the series, because we take 6 hours to choreograph it, where you can't do that on the day. I mean, you're shooting television, you're shooting 5-6 pages a day. I mean, you just don't have the time to do that. So
Rick Eisner was a big fan of that.
Rick loved a one-er. I used to go to him, is this going to be a one-er? And he'd be like,
I think what people don't realize is that when and it's even happening in films now, but in TV, you arrive, you're all gathered to go and shoot the scene that you're going to shoot, and you have about 5 minutes, maybe 10, to figure out how you're going to play this scene. I mean, you've got an idea with yourself, but you don't know what other people are going to do. You don't know what the space is going to be like. So you sort of have 5 to 10 minutes to figure out where you're going to be in that space and how you're going to use that for your performance. And then you know, as soon as you start doing that stuff, marks are put down on the floor, lighting is set so that when you come back 40 minutes later, when it's time to shoot it, you can't really change anything. You know, so you have, that's why those rehearsals on the Sunday was so important, because you can get all of the mistakes out of the way and the questions out of the way, and you can really properly understand what you want to do with the scene.
It's so interesting. It's interesting because I got to interview some of the people from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and they were telling me that some of them got together on Sundays to also rehearse. And I love Deep Space Nine, and I love The Expanse, and the common thing is actors that cared.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
So for each of you, I'll whoever wants to go first, or we can start with you, Kara, and we'll go the way I'm seeing the screen. What was the moment when you realized that there are fans that really, really cared about this show and these characters? Like, was there a moment when you realized it?
I think, I mean, the first thing that I am thinking of is just the response after the show was canceled. That was insane. Like to that groundswell that when a show is canceled, it doesn't come back. Like, you don't even dare think of that as an actor. I went out to the Amazon headquarters the day that the fans booked the flight. Remember, they were flying an airplane around headquarters that said "Save the Expanse." I went out and, like, as I was in LA, I had to see it with my own eyes, and that is unimaginable. And the story of this show being that it was canceled and then came back to life because of that, because of the fans, like, that is
unreal.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It blows my mind just thinking of it now.
And thank you guys.
Thanks. God. Thank you.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, they flew that Save the Expanse banner around Amazon headquarters for like a whole day. They put like a little Rossi figurine into space and then took a picture of it and like tweeted it at Amazon. They sent like a whole big thing of like Holden coffee to the headquarters. I mean, like it was a whole thing.
Were they sending like Jeff Bezos cakes and stuff?
Yeah,
like
they were like literally like mass ordering like, you know, Expanse food items to the Amazon headquarters. It was amazing, and it was worldwide. You know, people. This fan campaign was people from Europe and Asia and the States and everywhere. It was incredibly moving, and you know, when you see that kind of that passion reflected back at you, I mean, it's incredibly moving to feel that the work has hit that way.
Because nobody was more passionate about it than this group here. You know, we love those characters, those stories. You know, reading books was like, we knew it was something special. To have that reflected back was really special. Yeah.
I actually used to in the early seasons 1, 2, and 3, before we got cancelled, I used to live tweet with the fans on Twitter each episode, and that is when we have such a delightful fandom, like the banter that I used to have back and forth with everyone, and that was actually when I realized everyone cared. I think I was the only person that done it in the early days, and it was just, everybody was so dedicated from then, and it was actually exciting doing it with them live. And then when we got cancelled, then that's when we saw it in real time. But everybody's always cared about this show because it's such a good show, and I think because everybody that works on it cares, that then trickles out into the masses. So it's just like, it's a beautiful like cyclic thing, I think.
Yeah, Frankie or Jared, do you have an answer, or you want to chime in?
I mean, definitely the cancellation, I think. What about you, Jared?
Well, I was gone by then, so I mean, I was a fan of the show. I wanted to see it. I was one of the ones who were rooting for it to be saved.
I will ask the question that's on the screen I guess I'll do it for the Belters who are with us. How much did you learn or improvise when it came to the Belter language or way of speaking?
Jared, did you sit down with a Belter coach?
Yeah. I was given 3 options because there was well, not the language, but it was the dialect. And they said, there's a kind of mild, medium, or spicy version of it, like the hardest version. I went, well, I've got to go for the most extreme version because he's going to be the Uber Belter, so he's got to be the one that's got on the most
OG Belter. Yeah, we had someone hired a language professional to create the Belter language and also the dialect. So this was academics. So there's people that study languages for a living, or at least they do in universities. And they brought somebody in, I think 1 or 2 people. And
there's one dialect coach, and I don't remember, and then I'm not sure how many language people.
Dialect coach, and then we had the guy who actually created the Belter
language. Yeah.
And some of that was
and I can't remember the other guy's name, but yeah.
And the dialect was based. There was a rationale behind it. Mm-hmm. It was they made a guess at that time when the Belters would have been leaving Earth to be going sent as sort of mine workers out in the asteroid belt, who had the most abundant population, and those would have been the people that went out there. So that's why there's a sort of Chinese aspect to the accent as well, because they have so many people. And so there was a mix of it was about 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, because I was English, then they threw a little bit of Cockney in there.
Your accent is so amazing to listen to, Jared.
It is so good.
Yeah, you nailed that.
Based on like this kind of fishing, like I can't remember what it was, but there wasn't much improvising with it. Like it was very locked in. We all had to work it pretty much.
We had a dictionary.
There wasn't really like much that you could freestyle with it. It was quite difficult actually, but once you locked it in, it was all right. And then I started code switching because I thought that oh look, somebody's just like I feel like that was magic. But thank you. I appreciate you saying that because that was something that I created with our showrunner. I was like, she's got a code switch because that's who Naomi is, and we managed to. I actually just started doing it. It just got to the point where if I knew I was talking to a Belter, I would talk to them in Belter, and then the regular folks, I spoke to them in, I don't know, whatever we call it in the show.
Us regular folk.
Regular folk. Yeah.
Jared, I definitely have to ask you, when was the last time you spoke in Belter, and can you demonstrate any sort of accent today?
I mean, the last time, other than, when you meet someone, you go, Belter Loda, or whatever. I think last time I said that was to David Strathern. I was backstage about to go on a talk show as he was coming off or something. And we had a little moment backstage. But,
And you said Belter Loda to each other?
Love it.
That is iconic.
I love that! I love that! I wish I was there for that.
That's beautiful.
I can have people just sometimes shouting that at me in the street. Belter Loda! I'm like, yeah! And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm not. Let me calm down.
Someone mentioned the hand gestures too. Where did those go? Yeah. Did we have someone for that too?
That was me. I created some of those.
Yeah, of course.
So the love one, I created that. I can't remember what way it was. I made that one up, but and I think I made that one up as well. I can't remember.
And wasn't the rationale behind that because the Belters were out in space spacesuits that they had to develop a sign language.
Before there was the communication
because
system,
the comms would go out a lot, and so you needed to have your
they're so cool.
Yeah,
it's really neat.
Yeah.
I think this is.
Details.
Yeah, I think this is just one of the absolutely many things that the Expanse does that is just so effing smart, and why fans just love it, and why I responded to it, because it just seemed like it was based in real. I was going to curse, in real stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Are we not allowed to
I was
curse?
like, can we not?
I think we can, but I usually curse a little too much, and I'm trying to restrain myself because there could be young people watching. So for each of you, Kara, I'll start with you. One of the things about the Expanse is it had incredible props and production design and sets and everything. So if you could have hypothetically kept one thing, what was the coolest thing that you encountered or saw on set that you wish you could have kept? It could also be like a full, like low set, if you will. Like, I'm just curious, like, what's the one thing you wish you could have kept?
Set. Probably one of those pilot chairs. Like, if you're going to keep something, those whenever you got a chance to actually sit, like, that was a rare treat. So yeah, those big old chairs.
Not your mech suit. Your
Yeah,
you wanna-
yeah. The helmets.
no, your mech. The
Yeah.
the metal legs.
Oh yeah, my ADR machine legs. I called them my ADR.
Yes.
Every time I would move, I knew it was going to be an ADR moment.
Your ADR machine legs.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that was uncomfortable. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah, sorry, that's so lame. I
Oh.
know.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
I would have liked to have kept the gun. I would have kept one of those if I could have smuggled it out of Toronto.
Did you nick that?
And then I also would have liked to have kept the hat.
He's only got it.
Oh, mate. Well
Sometimes
done.
things just end up in your suitcase.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, that's all Photoshop. I mean, it's all, that's not real.
Those are just
Yeah.
things I wish I would have been able to keep.
Absolutely. Jared, did you borrow anything, or what would you have liked to have kept?
I keep something from everything that I've done, always. I think most actors do. I kept the jacket, and it still fits.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. There you
That
go.
one with the big high collar, with the sort
Yeah.
of had the double buttons, the layers and everything. Yeah, I
That's
kept that.
Was that something that you were allowed to keep, or you just borrowed it?
I can't, sometimes they let you take stuff, but sometimes it's you just you're not coming back, so you walk away with it, because you're not coming back. They're not going to need it again.
That's right. It's just end up in some warehouse somewhere.
That's right.
Stephen?
I kept one of the helmets. Just
What? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
yeah. I kept one of
Why?
the helmets just to remember all of those hours. Just
Why is it
super
not sitting behind you
claustrophobic,
right
breathing
now?
in my own face as we're
Yeah.
going through. I wish I would have kept one of the harnesses too, because I think we spent so many hours on those wires. I just
Yeah.
just as like a trophy for like the hours up there. I wish I would have kept that, but I do have a helmet.
Some of those helmets were awesome. Some
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
ones that they put on the belters and the workers, the miners, like some of those helmets were really cool looking.
Super cool, super cool. When you did the wire work stuff, because the helmets were so cool and kind of bulky, you really had to get your balance right to make sure that you weren't like tipping over at any given time.
Tried
yeah,
to
they
do
look
it
Wait,
That's
the music
pregnant.
so strangely. Like, I think Kara had a baby in there at some point.
That's stupid. Sitting on a little bicycle seat, pretending to be in zero gravity. Insane.
A lot.
Insane job. Insane life.
Dom, what did you, I guess, borrow, or what was something that you would have loved to have kept?
I have my helmet too, and I have
You guys are crazy.
some rubble from Illis. I don't know why. Don't ask. I took some rubble from the quarry, and I was like, want to remember this. But I wish I'd kept. So there was an episode where Naomi goes into Philip's quarters, and he's made this little he's fashioned something together, and I'm like, oh, my son engineers as well, and I wish I'd kept that little prop that was like his little thing that he'd made. So yeah, that.
And
I don't have anything. I don't think. No, okay. What I typically steal from, well,
borrow
forever from jobs is practical shit like socks and Bobby had really good workout gear. It was tight, sexy, practical.
Yeah.
So I stole all the singlets and tights borrowed.
Can you explain to everyone what a singlet is that isn't from New Zealand, please?
The tank tops. Or called vests in England, apparently. So just like all her workout gear. She didn't have really good workout gear. But I don't even think I have that anymore. Probably lost that too. But yeah, I've got memories.
It's so funny you say that because I ask a lot of actors when I interview them, what did you borrow from set? And it's funny you say socks because I remember Maya Hawke told me she borrowed like all of Winona Ryder's Stranger Things socks. She's like, they were really good. She's like, I took socks.
They do. They get really good socks.
Do you borrow socks? I mean, I don't know. Once you put them on your feet, I think they're yours.
Right.
Yes, this is true.
Same with
underwear.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
I think we have what I'm learning about this. I've been told Lindsay says we have a paid comment. So what is this paid? Here we go.
Okay.
Which character death affected you the most because of the character or because you missed the actor on set?
Ooh.
David.
Oh, you did.
Ashford.
Yeah, you and David.
Me thinking Philip was dead was mine.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That was devastating.
But is he?
Miller died.
Miller.
Yeah. Me and Miller had some good times, man. We had some good times, dude.
God.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
It's too bad it was in the book. Julie, I miss Julie. I really I loved that storyline. And, and she was great. We had a wonderful actor to play.
Yeah, she was great.
Brutal ending for her.
Yeah. That scene was so gorgeous. It was such a gorgeous scene.
So beautifully written.
That was sad. That episode makes me cry when I watch it.
Yeah, the writing on the show was extraordinary, especially for television and the episodic stuff. Those writers, Mark Burgess, Hawk Osby, and then everyone else they worked with. Narain was terrific, but boy, they care about those scripts,
Yeah,
and
it really showed.
Yeah.
Jared, and I could be wrong about this, but Jared, and maybe you guys can correct me, that I think your accent, the way you did it, was like actually an inspiration for a lot of the other people. A lot of the other belters would like hear your accent and try to sort of mimic or use it, or am I completely wrong on this?
I just completely copied you, Jared. I just absolutely copied you. And when I went into audition for this show for season 2, I had, watched season 1 and loved it. And I went in and I did my audition in that Belter accent and to the like Canadian casting director. And she was like, what in the fresh fuck is this? Like, what are you doing? She was like, could you tone it down a little bit? And I was like, no, ma'am, I cannot.
Really? Like, watch the show.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the casting director. Watch the show.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to give you another option of this because I want this to be.
I remember when I was working on it that it gave you a lot. That the sort of harshness of the accent, of the dialect, and the sharpness of it, and the way that the consonants were clipped, and certain vowels were missed out. There was a rhythm to it that really helped. It made you very, very direct in your intention or thought, and it was a very powerful tool for the characters.
It really was, and Jared's was the most spiciest and earliest one you heard on the show, and that is why it kind of followed that, because that was the one of the most extreme versions of a belter we saw as Anderson Dawes. So it's like almost the purest form of who and what a belter was and meant, and like in that kind of revolutionary way. OG belter, even like the way his tattoos were, which were scars and stuff like that. So it's like it was a model for everything else, because it's like that's who.
The thing with the scars was they were going to put tattoos on, and I said no, I want scars, because the tattoos are an homage to all the original belters. Because when they were working out on the asteroids with these suits on, the suits would heat up so much they'd burn your flesh. But they perfected the suits by then, but they wanted to acknowledge what the original belters and what they'd gone through by putting these tattoo scarring on them.
God, what a great detail!
Cool.
What a wonderfully well thought out detail. The old suits would burn you. That is cool.
So cool.
I think Ashford had scars, didn't he? As well.
Accident.
I mean, he had that, but I feel like he had the scar tattoo, and then the younger belters would get the tattoo to be like, I'm a belter. Oh, it's so gangster. I love that detail. I love that detail. I love it. I love it.
Something I actually want to, something that I've always wanted to know, and I've asked this of a lot of people, a lot of actors, when you have cool tattoos or scars, or you have a cool outfit on from like, you're, when you're filming something, how much do you just want to go to Starbucks or like just outside set and just get people's reaction? You know what I mean? And like, and part two of this, have any of you actually done that and gone to the store specifically because you want to get that actual reaction?
So I've not done it on purpose, but there's been a couple times actually where I was just tired after set, and I was like, guys, can you just give me the solution? I'll take all my tattoos off when I get home. And I forgot that I've got them on, like especially the big chest one. So then like I'm just in Toronto in like an apartment building going up in the lift, and someone walks in and is like, and then I remember being like, why the fuck are they staring at me, like annoyed? And then walking in my apartment and being like, well bitch, you've got the whole tattoo on your chest, around your neck, on your ears, like these are not little tattoos. And I remember bursting out laughing, but like not me getting annoyed that I'm getting stared at, but it was funny, especially in Toronto, because Canadians are quite like it's just so funny. But yeah, that happened a few times to me.
Anybody else?
I was doing a Western in Montana, and we were playing Confederate soldiers, and we had full military Confederate outfits on. And I made friends with a guy named Tim Montana, who's a musician, an excellent musician. And I met him on that, and we became pals. And so, like, somehow we ended up, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, so there's only one bar. And somehow we ended up at this bar with our Confederate uniforms on.
No.
We're like marching into an old Montana bar in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, God.
A couple of Confederates. And Tim brought his guitar. And he pulled up, and he's a wonderful musician. So he pulled up a stool and he starts playing this fantastic sort of country rock and roll. And, there's maybe like, 9 people in the bar. And they were just like, what the hell? That was fun.
Well, you can say he pulled out his guitar and started playing the battle hymn of the Republic. That's a really messy people's minds.
Hilarious. I do take characters out sometimes for walks. Yeah. Like the other day, I was going to do a tape, and the character had a very strong Alabama accent. And I went in my local coffee shop and I was like, can I have a flat white? And they looked at me like, we know that's not your voice. And I was like, thanks. And they was like, you're welcome. And they was like, do you want 2 sugars in it? I was like, yeah. And they was just like, what is going on here? And then I was like, bye, and carried on. And it's just like, that is hilarious. Yeah.
Jared, I got to do a follow up with you. Did you leave set at all with like your look, or did you?
Yeah, my wife liked the tattoos.
Oh, spicy! You see, this is what you meant by spicy.
Those are perks of the job, right?
Yeah, and I get that same look in the, we'd be at the whatever, Shangri-La hotel or something, and getting in the lift, you'd be covered with the tattoos and the gang stuff, the scars and everything, and that cut, and, and then just going, what is going on? We'll let these mobsters in here now.
I absolutely would take that stuff out of set, and expect also if I was filming near Halloween, I would be like, please, like I need to, you know what I mean. But anyway, I think we have a comment. I'm not sure, Kara, Frankie, did anyone else want to say anything?
I've had fake pregnancy, well, like bellies. I've played pregnant a couple of times, and every now and then I'm like, oh, should I go on the street and have a cigarette? It's funny at the time, and I'm like, oh, maybe not a great idea, but yeah.
That's brilliant.
I did one job in Miami in the middle of the summer in August, and it was a period piece, and we had these like heavy wool suits on, and me and Jeffrey Dean Morgan walked into a restaurant, and like I was in like a shark skin suit in the middle of August, and we're just like dripping sweat. I mean, like literally like transparent shirts, and they're like, the guy was like, "What are you guys doing with these suits on?" And it was like so fucking, just the hair melting into our face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that for a spin. No, that's not for me. Kara or anybody else?
God, no, I can't take it off fast enough. I'm like, no, get me out of this, drummer.
I was going to say, I think we have another comment that I want to read. Let's see. The question on everyone's mind, it's great to look back, but can we fans hope for anything going forward? The story isn't finished.
Nice.
Stephen, you take this one. You say the most sensible answer.
Thanks,
there is still hope out there. I'll say that. There's still hope. The door is not closed. We shall see, but there's still a possibility. We'll see.
I like that.
If only we all still liked each other and got along and wanted.
I know. I mean, like.
I know. Because it's going to be hard to get us back because we can't stand each other.
That's right. There is still.
It would have to be a prequel, so I could be in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a great idea.
So I actually want to jump backwards now and talk about. I know we've gone for a while just talking about random stuff, but I actually want to talk about season 1 a little bit. And what was it actually like for the 4 of you who were on season 1? Like, what was it like the first time you got the script and first time you got on set and like realized, because it's one thing to like be told about stuff and it's one thing to read the writing and think that it's pretty good. But like, when did you first realize, oh, wait a minute, this could be something really special?
You want to hop in first?
No,
you were on first.
Yeah, I'll really quickly. I was the first actor to come on board for this sci-fi show, and my agents were like, "You can't do a show for sci-fi," and I was like, "But the script is just banger. It's just so good. These characters, I got to go meet these guys." And I met Mark and Hawk, and then Narain, who ran the production, and he talked me into it somehow. You know, he's like, the sci-fi was going to spend more money than they've ever spent, and we're going for something really special. And so I said, okay. I said, all right, let's see what happens. And then so the rest of the cast started coming together, and they built these damn sets, you know, and yeah, really showing up on set is the job that they did with creating the world. For my world, it was the world of the Belters, and that's when I thought, okay, this could be good.
I came in as a fan of the books, so I was a fan of the story, and I had read the first couple of books, and before I knew it was being adapted, So I came in as a fan from the beginning. And the first thought I had was just the sheer ambition of what they were trying to do. Because having known the books and having worked in television before, they were just so vast. I mean, the production scale was so big that to be able to do it at the pace of television felt super ambitious. But by the time I came on board, Tom was already on, and I think Shore was. They were talking with her, and I had talked to the guys at Alcon, and Sharon Hall was there at the time. It was this incredible executive who had done Breaking Bad and like all these other. There's just a wonderful pedigree of talent. I just remember meeting them and just going like, if any group could pull this off, it was going to be this group. And I remember getting on set and just being so blown away by the thought and the scale and the care that was put into putting all these worlds together. And a lot of like why we started doing those work sessions, rehearsals, whatever you want to call them, on Sunday, was that that first season, it's like episode 8 where all the worlds actually converge. So like it was so important to keep everybody kind of in the same movie, on the same page, that we're all kind of focused on this singular goal. And that came from Mark and Hawk, who was wonderful scripts and writers who had done Children of Men, and they had done Iron Man, and they had done all these different things, and Narain Shankar and the authors at the time, which were heavily involved with the adaptation.
Yes.
Which then was very unusual. Like that was very unusual when the show came out. So all of that was just I was just pinching myself because I loved the story so much already, and to be able to play a character that I really liked as a fan was really something.
That's so cool. You'd read the books. That's so neat.
Yeah, man.
Dom or Jared?
Dom.
I think Dom froze. Yeah.
Oh.
I remember I was in Cape Town doing the Sean Penn movie, and I got they said they wanted to talk to me about it, and I had a long chat with Mark about it, and I remember they wanted, he was trying to describe who the character was and what the world was, and I'm a big sci-fi fan, and I love the idea of this story taking place in that moment where most sci-fi is you've already left the solar system and you're exploring the galaxy, and this one was placed in a time when they hadn't actually managed to get out of the solar system yet, which was unusual. And then the thing that interested me was they wanted to have an ambiguity about what the motives of the character were. But we had to make a decision about whether or not he was really out there trying to get independence for the belt, or was he just after it was good chats, and they did everything the right way. Those guys, they listened to you. You would. I wrote some of my dialogue that they would use. You pitched ideas to them, and if they made sense in the world, they would use them. That's not something that happens. Your usual experience as an actor is they really don't want to hear what you've got to say.
Totally.
They just want you to show up, learn the lines, and speak them in the right order. And that's part of a function of, it's so difficult to shoot a show. You have so little time. You can only have those conversations ahead of time. If you can't have those conversations on the day, but even just making room for you to have those conversations is a unique thing. It's becoming a little bit more common now, but it was a marked difference to say Mad Men, where you couldn't change punctuation. So yeah, it was a. I remember my most exciting moment coming onto the show was being on the Rosie, that in season 2.
Yes.
That scene that we had on there, I was so excited to get on.
Yeah,
that was great.
That was a great scene.
Are we still
Dom?
on that? Sorry, I had a little technical thing then, but are we still on that question that you asked about?
We are. You're going to be the last one answering it.
Okay, great. That panned out. I'll be completely honest with you. The Expanse was my first big job as an actor, and I didn't know what I was going into in any way, shape, or form. I honestly was so overwhelmed and excited to get a job and get an American job. And also, I think for a lot of Black actors in the UK, there wasn't much work for us here in those times, and we had to go to America to get work. And a lot of it was in sci-fi, actually, because that is where, I don't know, I think we've evolved a little bit now, but that's where a lot of us would get cast. And so for me, I couldn't believe it, to be honest. And I suffered with a lot of imposter syndrome in the beginning, where I was just like, why the hell have I been cast in this? I saw fans saying that I weren't tall enough. And I was just like, I am going to fuck this. Like, I really was in quite deer in headlights for the first season. I remember doing my first scene and just feeling like there was a frog in my throat, just like, I just couldn't relax for a while. And there were some challenges for me in the first season as well, like, which I think probably happens to every woman in those days, because that was like 2014, so it's almost like 10 years ago. So I don't know, like I didn't know what we were doing at all. I didn't understand how important this show was. I didn't even quite. I think it took a couple seasons for me to be like, because I didn't understand good writing and things like that then. I was just so green. And I'd been a backup dancer for 12 years and done acting classes for a few years and then crossed over. And this was my first real lead role. So, yeah, it's been the journey for me. I don't really feel like I hit my stride until like season 3. But yeah, I think it's a little bit magical how sometimes you are aligned with things without even knowing you are. And I think sometimes acting is like that and roles are like that. And I couldn't ask for more of a gift than Naomi Nagata. Like, not only playing her, she occupies such a part of my soul in a way that I never expected. And going on this journey with her and this arc with her, like, not only in the show, but just who she is as a woman is just like God's gift to me. Like, I feel so lucky to have gotten to portray this woman, and say these words, bring this writing to life with these people. Like, I can't even tell you, like, the Expanse is a blessing on so many levels that I don't even know if I fully understand.
Totally.
That's how I feel.
Totally.
I have so many other questions, but I know there's a few fans have sent in, so let's get through a few of them. What's the first? Here we go. Frankie, 2 questions. Did you and Tarabe, I probably pronounced that wrong.
Nick.
That's right, Nick Tarabe.
Did improvise some of the banter, and how were the cucumber sandwiches?
Loved the cucumber sandwiches. I think that was evident in what you guys saw. And I just love. I anytime I get to eat in a scene, especially if I've decided the character loves food, I have a fucking great time. And Bobby loves food. And then Nick. I got the worst memory. I would actually probably say it wasn't improv, but we had really good chemistry. We were sort of buddies. We found a nice place to play all that banter, but maybe here and there, like a word here and there, but no. But I'm glad it seems like that. Thanks for the question.
Let's do another question. I'm still rewatching. Have any of you watched the show since it ended?
No.
Yes.
Dom watched it recently, didn't you?
I was doing a rewatch of it. I think I got up to like end of season 3, and it was so lovely having a bit of distance from it and rewatching it, because when I used to watch it before, I always used to watch it and look at my performance and was more in a bit of a critique, and I could watch this as a fan, and this show is excellent, guys. Like, I say that I was watching it, I was like, I did know it, but I didn't know it. Like, it was so lovely watching it without watching myself. I know that sounds weird. I almost was able to be a bit disconnected, and I'm just like, shit, this show is good. Like there's really not much TV I watch that is as layered and complex and well acted, and I mean by everyone, like day players. Like it is a gangster show, and there are so many people in the show that are now in leading roles that come and play guest stars that I'm just like, okay. Like Simu Liu is in it. Like what?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that I'm just like, all the Canadian greats.
I have to interject and ask you guys. There's a lot of actors who have been on successful shows that now do like a podcast, like a rewatch podcast, whether it be like The Office or Parks and Rec or like a lot of shows people rewatch. Have you guys ever talked about, like as a group, rewatching an episode and doing like, you know what I mean? Like a rewatch where you're recording it for the fans. So you're like almost sharing like those, you won't believe what happened in this scene. This take took 20 fucking years to make this happen. You know what I mean? Like breaking down like each episode, or is this something that's never come up?
You know, it's a shame. It's a shame that Wes couldn't. Wes is working today, and he would have loved to be here. But he and Ty Frank, who is one half of James S.A. Corey, have a podcast for forever called Ty and That Guy, where they would discuss.
I did it once.
Yes, me too.
It's fun. They're very cheeky.
It was fun.
Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah. So they had a great time doing that. We all popped in and did that as well. But yeah, there's a lot to discuss. I mean, you know, you look back at the story, whether you're watching it or reading it or whatever. You know, to Dom's point, there's so many layers to this thing that you know, you look back and something new is revealed almost every time you go. It means something to you differently at different times in your life, and
many an Easter egg.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, frankly, oh, sorry, Dom, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go on, Steve.
No, I was just going to say that, you know, because we had the authors so heavily involved the whole time, you know, we really had the incredible luxury of aiming at a very specific spot in the distance in terms of our plot. So oftentimes you see on shows, you know, writers are still trying to figure it out in the middle of the season where they're going to end up. We never had that issue. So like it's incredibly lean. There's no fluff in this thing at all. And there are Easter eggs in season 1, you know, with Miller and all this stuff that ends up in like season 5, season 6. And that was planned from the very beginning because we had this incredible architecture from the beginning.
That was a gift.
Yeah.
I know we have another question or two from fans, so let's pop another one up.
For the fans.
The complex political world of The Expanse really brings the show to life. Do you see any parallels with our possible future, and how do you relate it to today's political climate?
It's prophetic.
Who wants to start?
Thomas just walks out.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's prophetic. I mean, it's incredibly prophetic.
But it's timeless too. It's timeless because these stories have been happening over and over and over. I know my the kid who I was pregnant with when we shot season 5 is now in kindergarten, guys. In case you want to.
Oh my God.
For a hot second, like, and she's learning like the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm like, oh, so now like we got to talk about like what that means and unpack that, right? And like as Native Americans talking about, you know, what America is and what the history of this land, and that there were people here before, you know, that's a huge idea, even for like people who. Like people still don't really get that America hasn't always been, right? That
people don't get
it, and that it can be something else in the future, and unpacking that with a kindergartner, right? But you have to start sharing those ideas, because otherwise it's like, I mean, that pledge is just wild. We don't do that in Canada. But yeah, so all that to say, this story has been happening in cycles. I think that's why it resonates. You can watch it again and again. It meant just as much to us when we were shooting it. It felt so spot on politically then, 10 years ago. Never mind now. But
I remember, Stephen. I forget what season it was. I think. Dom, what was the season? I'm confusing seasons. What was the seasons with the whole refugee crisis? Was it 3? Is it 3? 2 or 3. It was one of the two. But I remember
It was 3.
I think it was 3. We were doing press for it at the
Weekend
time.
Somnambulist.
Yeah, we were doing press for it at the time, and I remember a journalist asking me whether or not we were pulling current events, because at the time there was a whole Syrian refugee crisis going on in Europe, whether or not we were pulling current events into the plot structure. And I remember Ty or Daniel answering at the time. They're like, no, we're not pulling current events into the plot structure. We were talking about ancient Babylon.
Yeah.
And it was so indicative of what the major thematic push of this show is, which is that we make the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again, and the meditation on factionalism, on tribalism, on pushing away the other, has it's unfortunately a theme that goes back to time immemorial, and they were talking about those cycles, and ultimately this show is showing what could happen maybe if you could just help stop that cycle. I think at the end of the show, that's really the win, is that that cycle's hopefully has some chance of stopping by the end, which is why it really is a show of hope, despite it being so bleak and kind of prophetic in the way that it's showing the world as it seems to be headed, unfortunately. But they were talking about history, not current events, and it kind of just speaks to human nature.
I have so many questions. Oh, sorry.
I just want to add to that, because I think also what the show does is, because it was set in the future, it was able to hold up a mirror to society in a way that people could maybe look at it and digest it in a way that if it was current events, even though it's the same stuff, they maybe couldn't. And I do think that what you then got was the human of it all. So you got to see how Mars was a basically like radicalized army state, and how the Belters are basically the oppressed of all, and how when they try to defend themselves they get called terrorists. And I think like it is so in line with what is happening, especially right now in the world, of who has the power of the media and then what narrative they tell. And I think what the Expanse done was show you what it looks like all around that, the 360 thing of like, okay, like the Butcher of Anderson Station, that's a great episode for that, because the Belters who got blown to pieces were being called terrorists by the people that actually blew them to pieces, who were the actual terrorists. And I think we're watching a lot of that happen now with like Colonial Pursuits. So it's very, and obviously Colonial Pursuits are not new. So again, it's just a commentary on the human condition, on the world, on capitalism, on capitalist states, on what it looks like if we colonize, and with capitalism as the central system, the same things repeat. So it's just like, it's such a mirror in, I think, the most brilliant way, and that is why it's timeless, and it never, unfortunately, goes out of fashion.
Yeah, I have so many things I would like to say about what's currently going on in America, but I will restrain, since this is not
just America.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I have some comments about America, but let's do the next fan question. Do you guys have any input or ideas on any of the small changes from the books? Such an amazing job of bringing a world into live action.
Well, the one adaptation that I loved most that we did on the show, and again, having the writers involved so heavily was just so key to adapting these books, because it is a different medium, and no matter what kind of series or books you're doing, you're going to have to adapt something to it. Yeah. Drummer, the character of Drummer, is really an amalgamation character. It's like 3 people, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Three separate characters.
Devouring them. It was going to be a 1-woman show by the end of book 9. It's like
that was my favorite adaptation, because that character that you guys created with that adaptation was just so amazing. And it can show you, just like when you're transferring from medium to medium, that sometimes you can do something really incredible and something really cool that furthers the story even more.
there's a couple bringing Sarala forward because she's not in the first book, so they brought her forward to the first season. And also my hair was a big thing. So when I auditioned for The Expanse, because Naomi in the book has a big afro, and she hides behind her hair a lot. But I already had a mohawk because I'd cut my hair into a mohawk years before. So when I auditioned for the show, I don't know if you remember, Stephen, when we done our chemistry read.
Yeah.
They had someone come in and put a wig on me,
I
like a curly wig.
That's right.
And then Terry, who was the first director, was like, I'm so sorry, but can we take that wig off of her? So it was a whole thing. I spent hours in makeup getting ready for mine and Stephen's chemistry read with this wig. And I went in and they would like take that off, and then I done it with a mohawk. And I don't know if the Belters were supposed to have shaved hair and stuff like that. And I don't know if that was because I have shaved. I don't know how that worked. But my mohawk ended up kind of like, the shaved stuff ended up being a thing going forward. So like day players would come on and they'd be like, we need to shave a notch in your hair. You're all right with that? And they'd be like, sure. It's just like, I don't know, I mean, come in for 2 days, get like a circle shaved into your head. Like, some people liked it, but that was a thing. And I also said to them, I don't think Naomi is a woman that hides behind her hair. I know you wrote that into the books, Ty and Daniel, but sorry. I'm going to not hide behind my hair. So that was a little detail that was changed.
I actually want to jump onto something else, which is for Frankie and you, Kara, about season 2. So you're joining the show in season 2, and what was it like those first few days on set? Because you're essentially joining a found family. You know what I mean? When you first join a show after that's had a first season. So talk about those first few days on set, and how much were you told about like the arc of your characters going in, and how much, you know what I mean? Like, how much did you know when you first got the role?
Dude, I blacked out. I don't remember anything. I was hitting myself so hard. I was a baby. I was like, similar to Dom, I was just like, I don't think you called the right girl. I don't think you need to go call the right girl, fly her over and send me back to New Zealand. I was so like terrified. And then on top of that, everyone looked photoshopped in real life. The cast, the cast were stunning. And I'm just like, I've got to go home. I can't do this. So it was a lot of freaking out. And then, but thankfully, I don't know about you, Kara, but watching season 1 was really helpful. And then having the books. So slowly, once I came out of being blacked out, when I came to, I was like, okay, right. What do I have to do? And but yeah, just terrifying, man.
God. Okay, so I had this kind of crazy experience where my now husband and we did a long distance relationship for 3 years, and we had broken up for part of that. And we decided we would get back together. He was living in LA and Vancouver. I was living in Toronto. We got together in Chicago because it seemed like neutral territory. And we had this tiny little Airbnb for like 3 days to hash it out, see if we could make this thing work. I got fucking food poisoning that weekend. Just coming out all over in the bathroom. It was just a living nightmare. It was like, you have to marry me now, basically, is how that went.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, on the plane right here, I watched the first episode of this show called The Expanse. Like, we're not going out anywhere. So we watched the whole first season in between throw-ups in this Airbnb. And I swear, the next week, back in Toronto, I got the audition for it. So I was like, fuck, like you never audition for something that you love, right? Like that's not. So I was like, okay, I got the eyeliner, I've got the accent. I went so gung-ho in this audition, like just craziness. And then the next week, I found out on the Dufferin bus that I got the part, and I was so excited. But it was just like a guest star role that I had auditioned for. It was like Fred Johnson's right-hand man for like 2 episodes or whatever. And the next week, I don't know, Dom, do you remember this? I was walking down the street and I ran into you on the street, and I was just like, hey, I'm just got a part on your show. It was so weird. Everything was like Expanse fated for me.
So weird.
And then when I got to set on day one, and I was already so nervous and so excited, I remember Hawk and Dan coming into my room and being like, "Oh, by the way, the scene's in 0G. Do you think you can do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And Thomas Jane, it was the scene with you where I was telling you not to puke in your helmet, and they had this rig set up, so the whole thing was shaking, and everyone else was sitting, but I was walking straight down the line. So every time it moved, I was like, "Whoa!" Just trying to not fall and look like an idiot. And then the next scene, I had this huge part that was supposed to be a voiceover, and they were like, "Can you do this on camera?" And I was like, "Yep." The ultimate nightmare of a first day for this thing that I cared so much about. And then they were like, "We just want you to know we're testing out amalgamating all these characters from the books, and we really think that we just want to test it and see if it works." And I was like, I just want this to work so badly. So it was like just the absolute craziest first day you could ever imagine and dream of.
Wow. Yeah.
That was my experience entering this world. It was like, ah!
Yeah, no pressure, none at all.
But then I did win. I did.
Yes.
She won.
So this next question is actually for all of you. What was the scene when you were making the show where everything sort of clicked for you, where like you felt comfortable in the role? Like, was there that one moment? You know what I mean? Or was it like a combination? Because I'm just going to go with that question.
Oh, there was a moment actually the first time that I was on the Rossi, I think in season 3, and you guys were all there, and I'm like trying to make sure one of the Martians doesn't kill you or something. And I just felt really present and grounded in that moment, and I didn't feel so flighty and afraid. I felt really connected, and I was like, okay, I think this is where. I mean, that was season 3, so that took a while, but I felt like, okay, this is where she's at, and we'll go from here.
For me, the scene that really kind of stands out as the moment where I really felt kind of grounded in Holden. It's a very quiet scene in episode 1, and it's just me and a rat on the Canterbury, and he walks in, he's got a cup of coffee, he's trying to make it taste better, and he hears Julie Mao's distress call. And it's actually quite a long scene. It goes on for a couple of minutes. There's no words in it except for her. But the whole process of him taking that in and making the decision that knocks that first domino that ends up leading through the plot all the way through the end. To me, it was like that scene was the essence of who Holden was. And yeah, that's when it really sunk into me, because it was a very quiet scene. It was a very kind of slow, meditative scene. But I think Holden's intentions felt very grounded for me by the end of it, and I kind of felt like my feet were on the floor after that.
We got 4 more of you.
Well, for me, it was the hat. We had a big argument about whether or not a character would wear a fedora in space. And that went on for quite a while. That was not an easy answer. There was no easy answer to that question. But I was like, I got to wear this hat. I just feel like that's when I'll understand this character and, be able to set him aside, make him an anachronism in some way. He needed to be an outsider, and there needed to be something that would be part of the character, the look, his personality, that he would wear that outsider status, kind of as a fuck you to the system that had really like let him down at an early age, and somehow I convinced everybody that I had to wear a hat. That was fun.
It's hard for me because it took me a really long time to settle into her. But I think like when I got a sense of her heart, I think that's when I started to understand her more and feel a bit more comfortable. And I think one of those moments is there's a scene that I have where I'm with Amos, and I think it's in season 1 where we're getting shot at. We're on the I don't know what the Martian ship was called then, that one. But we all think we're going to die, and I say I'll never get to say goodbye, and he's like, what? And I'm talking about Philip in that moment, and I think that like it's a really early Easter egg of Naomi forward thinking of like, I need to find my son at some point. And I think that, and also we were talking about this earlier, the weeping somnambulist scene, where I think when you really started to see the core of Belters and who they are and how they look after each other, even though they're the most oppressed in the system, and how Naomi, even though she's kind of had to walk away from what she's had to walk away from, she still has that in her, and that sewed up who she was for me. Because I think the tough was tough. It was like, obviously she's the smartest on the ship and she's the engineering whiz, but there was something about her heart that took me a while to find, and it was those moments that really like, I was like, oh, okay, this is who she is. So then when it got to like season 5, I just was like, oh, I have the full her that I can go into this with now. It took a while. For me.
I got Kara and Jared. Who wants to go first?
Kara.
I think for me, as the seasons went on, I mean, Drummer just became a more complex character, right? As they, I think, gained some trust in me, and then we could go deeper. And then, of course, getting to work with David. I mean, he's such a master. And I was so, when I knew that he was coming on and that we were going to be butting heads, Drummer was so tough, and I respected David so much as an actor, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to really like dig deep to be tougher than him. And then he comes on and he's like, hey, like charming. And like, I was like, oh, fuck, he's really keeping me on my toes, because I can't just like hammer. Drummer can't just hammer this. So I had to like really, he kept throwing all this really interesting stuff at me that challenged me as an actor, and I got to just investigate those layers to Drummer then, right? Because of what he was throwing that I just never would have anticipated. And that's why working with, the masters is a gift as an artist that there's no training for that. You just have to do it. So it was for me doing that stuff.
Meet them.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's like a delight.
Isn't he just? Oh.
So yeah.
And now we're down to Jared.
Yeah, for me it was the second. I mean, it was only 4 scenes over 4 episodes, so it was the second episode, the scene with Thomas in the bar, and I remember when I saw it, it was the first time that I'm sure we're all the same way. I hate everything that I do when I watch.
Oh, me too.
I can't watch myself. I'm deeply critical of everything, of every choice that I make. Why are you looking that way? Why don't you turn your head up this way like this and say that line like that? It takes years for that stuff to go away. 10 years later, you can watch what your work was and not have these critics in mind. And but that scene was the first one that I watched with you and I played together at the bar, Tom. So I think I'm trying to steer you towards finding someone who I'm trying to stitch up for something to do with Julie. I can't remember it exactly. But it was the first time I looked at it and went, no, I'm happy with this. Everything that I was trying to do has come together, because it was an extreme, characterization, and you don't know when you sort of take that step that far that is it going to work? You're going to fall flat on your face. which is normally the reason why they don't want you to do anything like that. They want you to play as close to yourself as possible, because they don't want to take that risk that it's not going to work. So it was that scene with Thomas.
I remember looking forward to every scene that we had. We didn't have many, but boy, did I love, I really felt like we were in that. I felt like a couple of belters. That was really fun.
Yeah, and that scene where you're being interrogated. That was really had so many good twists in that one. But that one went through some rewrites as well.
Yeah,
that was it. It was that scene with Thomas.
So before we get to another fan question, I actually, for the four of you who were on season 1 and went to season 2, I'm always curious, what is it like for an actor when you wrap on a first season or wrap on a season, then you go back for the next season? Like, what is it actually like in the days leading up to being back on set? Are you rewatching episodes? Are you actually this applies to everybody. What am I saying? Like, but for and for Frankie and Kara, like obviously for season 3, like, but what is it like in those days leading up to being back on set? Are you rewatching like an episodes? Are you like thinking about the character? Like, how are you sort of getting comfortable to be back for that first day of filming where you just flip it on and you're ready to go?
I always get scared. I forget how to play her. I'm like, oh shit, I've forgotten how to do it. But then once you're in situ and with everyone, it's like so seamless, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I went back to all my prep from season 1 and then dived back in that way. And obviously, you get new scripts, so I had watched season 1, so I'm not someone that minds watching my work, because I think I was a dancer for so long that I'm like, it's the only way you get better. So I had many notes from season 1. I was like, for myself, I was like, right, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this. So it's the only way I know how to critique myself is watching myself, to be honest. So I did watch season 1 and was like, not doing that anymore, or this anymore, that anymore. But for me, it's just like how I would prep for any role. It was getting back into her physicality and her. I always write a lot of memories and backstory and stuff, but putting on that costume, putting on them boots, walking back on the roasty, holding at my right, aiming at my left, it's just like, it does kind of, you go, oh, we're back on the ship. It's once your imagination starts coming in, you're there, really.
I'm with Jared. I have no interest in watching anything that I've done.
Same.
Yeah.
The scripts are very helpful. You get into the emotion of the through line of the character and the thing that you're after, and those are the touchstones. And you're just hoping that the scripts are going to come in and give you something to do.
Are you guys telling me that it never goes away? The feeling of not liking watching yourself?
Nope.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh God. All right. Well, just stop watching everything altogether then.
I didn't rewatch the first season. It really felt like it was all clicking as we were doing it. Like Tom and Jared and Frankie and everybody. I have a difficult time watching myself and not being hypercritical. But when you're doing it and it feels right, you just kind of trust it, and I think all of us had become so committed to this story, and we were so immersed in it by the end of season 1, to what Jared was saying earlier. I mean, we were literally taking our only 2 days off a week to work on this thing, the whole time, for 6 years. So we were all so kind of in that, getting back on set just felt like going home in a interesting way. Like, it was like a second home. Felt very comfortable going back and slipping into the suit. Reread the second book, kind of, that kind of stuff, but didn't look at the first season again.
Kara, Jared?
Yeah, I tried to stay one book ahead so that I had an eye on what I was going to be, if we were so lucky to continue, qualities of these different characters that I was amalgamating, trying to see what pieces I could cobble together to make a real human. Yeah, I mean, I'm like the nerdiest note taker you'll ever meet in your life. Like, maybe Steven is the nerdiest.
I was about to say, we
like,
bonded over that.
Yeah. So yeah, just reviewing all of my notes, all of my choices, what I had done, trying to make that stitch with what I plan to do next. Like, yeah, just a real nerd fest for me.
Let's see. For me, I remember I got a phone call from the showrunners, and they said they found a way to bring Dawes back for an episode, and was I interested? And I loved. I was a fan of the show. I watched the whole thing right through to the end. I, along with all the other fans, still live in hope that the story will continue. So I was excited about coming back, and I think at the same time they said something about they were looking for a way to bring the character back, and that I wouldn't be in 3, but I was going to have a story arc in 4 and die halfway through 5. There was no real sort of conversation about what that would be or anything, or what that story was. But yeah, I was excited about it, and I didn't really need to. I remember understanding the way the character thought, and once you understand that, you understand the way that a character thinks, it all falls into place, because then the feelings will follow. You know what you're trying to achieve, you know why you're trying to achieve it, you know what's getting in your way of being able to do it, and then you can just live in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have another fan question, so let's see this thing on screen. I swear it's coming. or maybe not.
The suspense, my goodness.
Do we not have another?
Me.
Because I got more questions.
What's wrong?
All right. Well,
Yeah, you have.
I'll ask the next thing, and we'll bring the fan question up after. So something that I was curious about is what actually happened behind the scenes, like between season 1 and season 2, and like 2 and 3, and like then obviously when Prime Video got it, like did anything happen behind the scenes in terms of like, did you have better craft services, or was it like exactly, the same? Like, I'm just curious, like how a show changes, if at all, between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and then when another whole company takes over.
A funny thing, I think people assume that our budget went up or something when we got to Prime, which it didn't. It was the same budget, same. What we did have was just incredible institutional support by Amazon. They were huge fans of the show and really believed in this thing. And, but by season 4, we as the cast were not the only ones kind of honing the way we did our work on this show the whole time. The crew was doing exactly the same thing. And we were able to just get more out of what we were doing as time went on. So, we were all as an entire unit, from the writers to the crew to us actors. We were just sharpening our ways of doing it, so that by the time we got to season 4, which was an incredibly difficult season to shoot, we were a pretty well-oiled machine by then. And so I think people assume that we maybe had more budget, but we were just pulling more production value out of what we were doing because we had just gotten better at doing it.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. And if you could talk a little bit more, whoever can talk about this, which is the first season of a show, you're learning the infrastructure of how to actually make the show. Like, how many days do we have per episode to do, zero gravity? How many days do we have, or how many shots can we do with VFX and with our budget? Like, you're figuring out how to make the show with the budget you have. And then each season subsequently, you are refining the process so you can get the most out of it. And so I guess if you could talk a little bit about that in terms of like how it changed from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, if at all.
Sure.
There was nothing like The Expanse. Like, it was like Thomas said, it was a big thing for sci-fi to put a show like The Expanse on their network. And I think that's also why, for me, watching the first season was so important, because we didn't really know what we were making. We were figuring out the tone as we were going along in season 1. It was very much like, it was darker than other sci-fi that was out there, and like a lot of people say it's their favorite show since X, which was 10 years ago, you know, so there wasn't really like anything like it. And it was, I think it took the first season for us to understand what we were making, because shows are like organisms. It's like you have all these creative people coming together that don't know each other to make a thing, and so they breathe and they mold and they do different things in different ways when you're actually doing it in real time. And so I think it did take us a minute with that, and then as we went forward, it's like, I think there was like a year pickup between season 1 and season 2. So that delayed. I wasn't even sure if we were going to get picked up again. And then we got cancelled at season 3. But what did change, I think, between 3 and 4 was morale, because there was now a vibe of just like the fans are behind it. We got this big network. The marketing's going to be better. Like, we know we've made a good show, but it didn't seem to be hitting in the way that it should have. So I think that like it does take a minute to figure out what you're making, especially if it's a bit different from everything else that is out there. So yeah, it's a weird one. It's hard to explain it though, I think.
Can I tell a silly story about between season 3 and season 4?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Jennifer was like, nah. The day that we got the call that the show was canceled, Dom and I had prior plans to see each other. Remember, we were going to go out for dinner, and we went out for dinner with my friend Keon, who would go on to play Marco, but he was not at all a part of the show in any way, shape, or form.
Regular civilian.
Happened to have this dinner planned. And it was the day. So Dom and I were all like bummed out, and he was like consoling us. Is that not? No, guys.
Crazy. That's the day we had. We were like, our show's been cancelled, man. Keon was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, this is my friend Dom, meet Keon.
Like, hey.
Sorry, we're in a bad mood because our show was just canceled. The day.
Yep.
That is actually very that's weird. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
it's weird.
No, it's so there's a question for everyone. Did you picture the proto-model? This is a season 2 question. Did you picture the proto-molecule differently in your head before seeing it finished?
The monster or the actual substance itself?
We can whatever. Sure, the substance, the monster. What you can talk about both.
It looked pretty accurate to what I was imagining when I was reading the books before we started. I mean, they went through so many iterations of what that would look like, and I mean, with that kind of stuff, it can go so wrong. Like it can go so wrong. And they just did such a wonderful job. I mean, like if you walk through the production offices at the time, it was just covered in the most beautiful production art.
Oh,
I mean, like just stunning stuff. And like you could see the crystals of the protomolecule like coming out of people, and it was just like, this is gonna look so cool. And they rocked it. It looked pretty close to what I was imagining when I was reading it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I was imagining. Lot of previews we saw before it got onto the screen, so we could imagine what we were seeing and fighting against. So we had like mock-ups of it. So I was just thinking of that, or the previews we got shown. So we kind of knew what it was going to look like before we saw the finished VFX, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good. Very scary.
Yeah.
I'll ask one other thing, and then I want to open it to the audience questions. For season 1 and season 2, for people, because there's a lot of people like who have watched the show but maybe haven't rewatched it. And you sort of touched on it at the beginning of this Q&A about some of the Easter eggs that were planted in season 1. But like, are there any things that you want to point out to people when they rewatch the show, whether it be season 1, season 2, or beyond, that you really sort of want to point out, being like, you should notice this now?
The thing that it's a small thing, and it's just kind of the first thing that pops to my head. When episode 1, when Miller is walking up to his apartment and he sees the kid, and there's an exchange, and it's like, oh no, that boat has sailed, or that train's left the station, or whatever it is, and there's that bird that comes to him. If you notice through the seasons, whenever there's this kind of like proto-molecule event, when Holden connects the circuit, when like all these different weird things start happening, you'll always see that bird. You'll see it'll like come out of a proto-molecule thing, and it'll start flapping and like go away. That same bird shows up through the series, and it's just an interesting little through line that I just thought was really, really beautiful. That they had this visual connection through the seasons.
The sweet bird of happiness.
That's right. That's right.
So lovely.
That's right.
There's a lot of Philip references in the early seasons, like the one I was talking about, the scene that I have with Amos, where I'm like, I'll never get to say goodbye. And there's quite a few where or even when I asked Fred Johnson to find someone for me in the future, I think is that the end of season 1? I think, or maybe it's 2, where he comes on the ship and I'm annoyed with him, and then I'm like, I'm going to ask you to find me someone. That's also about Philip, which I then go and do. There are so many Philip Easter eggs that I love. And again, I just didn't think we'd get to season 5, so I could actually play them out, but I did. So that was wicked. But yeah, a lot of Philip Easter eggs.
Anyone else? I can move on I have other questions. We can move on.
Yeah, and some 4, 5, 6 questions as well. That'd be
there's a few questions that I've been sent. So, Kayla, am I reading that, or are you putting it on screen? Oh, I'll be asking. I guess I'm asking the questions.
Read it, me.
Yeah. So, question: how did you find we talked a little bit about this, but how did you find the process of learning the Belter accents?
Fun.
I will say, it has ruined me for doing other dialects. Like now, when I have to do other dialects, it just slowly reverts to Belter.
I love that. Your soul always goes towards drama.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I love learning new dialects, and again, like what Jared said, it just made the Belter culture so specific, and specificity is your friend as an actor. Like the more specific you can be, the better, and the more tools that you can bleed into that. Like the code switching was born out of the fact that we had a dialect in the first place. Like the fact that I could even bring that as an aspect of a character was down to the fact that there was so much detail, that we had a whole language. So I just think the more detail in a story, the more specific you can get with your character is just a dream for an actor, I think. So it was delicious.
Jared, Thomas?
Well, we've talked about it. I mean, I was fascinated with the academic that came in and sort of expanded on the Belter stuff from the book and created this. I mean, it's, I guess that's been done a lot, but at the time it had only been done. What other? There was another show that had their own little language. I can't remember.
Star Trek.
Yeah,
Klingon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Klingon.
I mean, Game of Thrones. They had the Dothraki, and I mean,
Yeah.
it becomes quite. There's like a sort of little cottage industry of people now who, when you're world building like this, you can go to, and they'll develop languages for you.
Yeah, it's an industry now.
We went to a Comic-Con, and there was a load of fans doing a class on Belter and teaching people how to talk in Belter.
Yeah,
Fun.
So cute.
We gate crashed it.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing that it would be amazing if, like, Jared was leading the Belter classes. You know what I mean?
I'd be there.
Like seriously, Jared, when there's a convention coming up in the future and there's a belter class, you really have to show up with the, I think you said you have the coat.
Yeah, it's so
Like
good.
you really have to just walk in and be like, what do you think you're doing without me? You know, with the coat and the whole, I'm
That's
joking
what we
around.
did.
Well,
Did you-
actually, I'm embarrassed I don't remember his name because the credit has to go to the
Nick Farmer.
gentleman.
Dialect.
Say?
There's one of the guys was called Nick Farmer.
Yes. So he was the coach.
He was the coach,
Yeah.
and then
had Eric too. Eric was one of them.
Eric.
Yeah.
That was the other guy's name.
Yeah. So and those guys, they developed the tools kit for you, and they would spend time with you, so you got familiar with it. They go through your lines, they record them for you, so you could hear them. You know, I was just a student and copied what they need to do and try to do it so it seemed natural. But I mean that the credit should go to those guys.
So this is a question that came in from Facebook. How has your character influenced you as a person now? Has playing these roles like changed you as a person? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was also 21 or 22, I think, when I got this job. So I spent majority of my 20s with these wonderful people guiding me into the woman I am today. But and on top of that, playing this like really strong character, both like outside and in, and I kind of had to find that within me in Frankie, and I think that was empowering, I guess, as someone in their 20s. And so yeah, influenced me a lot. And these guys, of course, my family.
You know, the thing that I took from Holden and his journey, which I so appreciated about his kind of hero arc through the seasons, which was so unusual, was that you oftentimes don't see hero arcs with a hero failing constantly forward. Like, you know, he's constantly falling on his face. And he's picking himself back up and dusting himself off. And it's like, okay, I was an idiot. I'm going to learn from that, and I'm going to keep growing. It was a very realistic arc to how a leader actually becomes one in the real world. It's messy and ugly and embarrassing sometimes. And, you know, what I took from that was just, you know, the resilience of Holden to just pick himself up and keep going and learning from his mistakes to be a better man. And I did internalize that as we were going, and I'm grateful for the character for that as well. The writers did a great job kind of portraying that kind of arc.
That's really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I think also there's something about, as a group of people, having the audacity to speak about how the world is in these large cycles throughout history, that if we don't come at it from a good, healthy community first, right? Like if we're going to talk about how the world is and how it might be better, we have to embody that as a company first, right? Like it's got that like kind of theater company feel to it, right? Where there was sort of a no assholes policy. There was that was like true and real and enacted even when it was hard to do that. There was a philosophy about the best idea winning, and people really from the top down, creating this structure where people had such intense ownership of their work, valuing the opinions of this incredibly diverse group of actors you still don't see. And I think we're starting to veer away from that a little bit, which sucks. But when you have, an actual diverse company of people telling a story, you get a diversity of ideas and how to be in the world. And I think that to me, seeing that work and seeing that actually being this incredible work of art coming from that, like it doesn't have to be a fucking Harvey Weinstein situation where like it follows this old model to make something good. We can actually make something really excellent by including as many points of view as we were able to on this show.
Something that I want. Oh, sorry.
Showrunner, he said that was his aim for this show. Narain said that he wanted to be able to show that you can make something excellent without a set being toxic, and dare I say, he achieved it. But
he's the best.
Yeah, that is not the norm in the field that we work in, and like still to this day for me, The Expanse is the best set I've ever been on, and it urges me to go forward and take myself wherever I take myself to bring what I learned on this set. Like this show changed me as a woman, an artist, an actor. Like I mean, I came on this show in my 20s, but I say I grew up on this show because I think there wasn't a better place to learn how to be on a set and how to be a lead on a set and how you bring other people into the set, and like all the things Kara just said, the things that were being fostered on our set is not normal. I have horrible experiences on sets a lot of the time, and normally it's to do with ego and fear and not the best idea winning. It's everybody wanting to prove themselves, and it's all of it comes from fear, and The Expanse was not run that way. And it is also such a privilege to be able to play a character over a 6-season arc. And I, again, feel very grateful that I got to grow alongside Naomi and as an artist, but also keep digging deeper into her story and her arc and bring it full circle. And I think that is just like a privilege that you rarely get as an actor. So it's definitely changed my life for sure.
So something this is aimed at everyone, but some of you on this only played the character for so many episodes, and some of you were on all 6 seasons. Apparently my Alexa in my office is going crazy.
He loves The Expanse.
Yeah. As I unplug the Alexa. So what I was saying is, what is it like? So the show wraps. What is it like as an actor, like letting go of these characters that you've come to love and care so deeply about? Like, how long was it after wrapping that, like, you were still with your character? Do you know what I mean? Like, how long did it take you to let go, if you ever did? And obviously for some of you, you played the character a lot more than others. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it took over a year after we finished to just kind of get it out of the mode of being him. It's like almost everybody here said already. It's a very unusual experience to play a character for so long, and you really do find this kind of psychology and rhythm and way of being that it took over a year for me to kind of unwind from that because it was so immersive and just to echo an earlier point, I mean, we were so privileged to have Narain Shankar as a showrunner for this because, he really did foster the collaborative nature that allowed for this to feel like a theater company, and it really did feel like a theater company shooting for 6 years. And to all of the points that have been made already, just how incredibly rare that is in our industry and unheard of on television. So I just want to shout him out too, because Narain, the best. Yeah, the best, and the heart, the soul, and the brain.
And I learned so much from Narain. I mean, that guy knows so much about putting a show together. But you're right. I mean, we were saying it earlier that the crew, it's very rare that the crew will drop whatever they're doing and then jump back onto The Expanse. I have never seen that happen. I know that, seasonal crews, they do get tight, but usually, I mean, we must have had 90% of our crew come back at least.
The whole way through. Yeah.
And you're right. That did start from the top. It came from Narain and Mark and Hawk being, true artists in creating the stuff. But I learned, Narain and Alcon and Amazon gave me my first television directing gig on The Expanse. And I was my character, I'd put away in a drawer. I don't think I never let go of Miller. I still think he's out there, and I'm waiting to pull him back out of the drawer, even if we have to change his name. But I did get to come back for season 5 and direct this incredible cast, and that was really special. And I couldn't have done the job that I did without the crew and the cast that we had. So for me, that was the real gift of The Expanse.
I will never let go of Naomi Nagata. I think, I just think there is an imprint that happens with characters that you play, especially if you play them for a long time. And I don't know if any of you have seen that study that they're doing on actors that said that they got actors to answer questions in character. And when they did, they found that the ego part of the brain that normally lights up when people answer questions is gone in an actor when they're in character. Huh. And I truly believe that, like, when you take on someone's story like that, you become them in a certain way. But then when you come back to yourself, there's always a thread of them there, like a parallel universe that you can like tap back into where she's still going. I stepped out of it, but she's still there. And so I just feel like there's certain scenes I watch that I have almost like PTSD with, and I'll like start sobbing when I watch it, because I remember I have a recall to how I felt, especially the ones with my son. Like, I had to go and check into a hotel in LA for a couple of weeks, and I was still messaging Josiah going, "You all right, son?" And I think to myself, this is a man in his 20s who came and played my son on the show. He does not need me to check. But I was so attached to him. Like, it's such a weird thing. So I just feel like, same like Tom, I will never not have her somewhere in me. Like, it's impossible. I've lived her for too long. It's just, I feel like that about a lot of my characters. I'm like, no, it's mine. It's mine.
We have a few other, Jared, Frankie, Kara.
Drummer's ready to rock and roll. Book 7. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Bobby will always be in me, but I felt really at peace about. Sorry, I don't not to go. But yeah, like I was like, okay, yeah, that journey is there, and that was amazing, and I've learned so much, and I was like, yeah, it's time. It's time. But that's just what I'm like, I think. Acceptance.
It's very healthy.
Yeah.
It's a very healthy way to be, Frankie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I'm healthy in that way. But yeah, no, I felt really at peace. I mean, obviously, I would love to do it again and work with everyone again if it goes that way. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to go play someone else now. Mm-hmm. So,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is nice to play other characters after that, because it is such
an
intense experience when you do get the chance to do someone else and you're like, oh, no helmet, huh? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I went on to play like someone that was wearing dresses with hair and nails and the girliest girl ever. And that was a nice thing to go on to.
Yes, I got to do that in Monarch, and I was like, heels? High heels in a character? That was crazy.
Jared, do you want to answer, or I can move on to the next question?
I mean, I loved Dawes. I loved playing him, coming up with him, and I guess for me, it's sort of it feels like unfinished business. I would say, similar to what Tom and Dominic was saying. It feels like that's my feeling of it.
So we're almost out of time, and believe me when I say I could have if we had more time, I would have been more specific with going into more of the seasons, but we can't do that. There's only so much time. So for Jared and Thomas, I actually don't know if you watched the show when it aired, but for everybody, like, I loved the Expanse series finale. Like, I just thought it was great, and it delivered, it stuck the landing, and for fans, sticking the landing is just so important, because I look at Game of Thrones, doesn't do it right. I look at The Expanse, does it right. And you just have a much better taste in your mouth. So I'm just curious for all of you. And again, Thomas and Jared, I think you've watched it. I don't actually know, but for all of you, what was your reaction to the series finale, and ultimately, how it ended?
I was so proud. I really was.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of how we were able to land the plane, and and we landed it in the middle of COVID, by the way. So this was a very, very hard season to shoot, and it's not easy, especially for these giant world building shows where they talk about Game of Thrones or Lost or whatever. These are hard stories to wrap up, even in the best of times. And it was really tough shooting during COVID. So we had that extra added layer of difficulty. But we were such a close group by then. We really, that theater company aspect of what we have still is the reason why we were able to pull through despite all of the restrictions and all of the not being able to be in the same spot and all of it. It's a real testament to how close we all got by that last season, that we were able to stick that landing despite all of it. I was incredibly proud, and couldn't have been happier with it.
Yeah, I agree, and I love that we ended on a note of justice, like president of the trade union over there. I just feel like it was positive without being like soppy, and I think it did provide a little bit of look of like how it could go in some ways, but I was also very, very proud of it, and I just think it takes a lot of care to stick the end of a show like what you're saying. It was dealt with kid gloves, and I think that's what, when you've had people sitting down and watching this in their living room every day or every week, and I think it's important to wrap the show up properly. I think that's what a story deserves, and that's what good storytelling is. And I'm so proud that we did that, because it's a worthy ending to a show that has invested so much from everyone, from the viewers and from the people that make the show. So I think, I know we didn't want it to end, but I think with what it ended, it was worth it.
The Popo's coming for somebody.
Yeah, they're coming for you, Dom.
It's not me this time.
Sorry, folks. That's Brooklyn. Brooklyn is calling all of you.
I'm
right
like,
now.
who?
About that.
Yeah.
Normally me.
Frankie, Kara, Thomas, and Jared, do you have anything you want to add for the finale and the reaction?
Brilliant
Just what they
ending.
said. Yeah, so
They
good.
stuck the ending, and I want more.
Yeah.
Here,
You wanted more. You wanted to see. I mean, when you see something that's been told this well and just delivered that well,
Yeah.
you want them to keep going.
Yeah.
Here.
Believe me when I say, and I speak for so many fans, I would love for more Expanse, but at the same time, I'm also just so grateful that you guys made 6 incredible seasons, because so many, you know what I mean? So many things die on the vine or after one season. And, I'm grateful that you have a beginning, middle, and end. So at least there's a chapter of this universe that's out there that's just fantastic.
Yeah. It was a complete story. So you were satisfied.
Yes.
Everything got tied together. And, there's always this.
More.
I got a feeling we haven't seen
Matt
them.
said on Mad Men was because he didn't know if he was going to get, they were going to get re-upped. So he knew he had the first 2 seasons, and he ended it so that could be it. Then he knew he had 3 and 4, so he ended it on 4 as though that was a complete story. And then when he knew he had 5, 6, and 7, he knew he could get towards the end. So they were smart in the way that they knew how much runway they had, tied the story up, and leave open the door for the future.
Jared, wait, were you on Mad Men? I didn't know.
Yeah.
He's in everything.
I'm teasing. I know Jared's on Mad Men. Please, want to be clear about that. You know what I mean? So listen, like I said, the great thing about this conversation today is that I love seeing you guys and seeing how much you all get along, and I'm sure everyone who is watching loved it. But enough of my words. Dom, I think you're going to be ending this for us. I think you're doing the outro.
Oh, God, I had the last words in the season. Anyway, this this has been lovely, and I know the fans that are joining us, I know we didn't quite get to go through everything, but it's so hard. It's just so much to look at with this show. But thank you for joining us. Huge thanks to Stephen W for hosting this panel. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. That was awesome. And to my lovely castmates, Kara, Thomas, Jared, Stephen, Frankie, you guys are the absolute best. Thank you for being 2 hours.
Great to see everybody again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys haven't aged at all.
It's just really terrible.
And
Yeah,
to all the fans watching, we absolutely adore you. Thank you so much for spending 2 hours with us, and those of you that spent 3 hours with us, thank you. We'll do this again sometime, but until then, Yamsen.
Yeah. Well, actually, I do have to say one thing real quick.
Go on.
This stream will be on Streamly's YouTube channel. So if you joined us late and you want to watch the beginning, or if you have friends that are Expanse fans and didn't tune in, send them the YouTube link. And hopefully, I'll just put it out there. Hopefully, one day, all of us can be in person at a Comic-Con of some kind, continuing a conversation about more of the seasons and blah blah blah. But thank you guys for having me, and enough of my talking.
Thank you, Stephen. Nice to see you again.
Wonderful, man. Thank you.
Thank you,
brother.
everyone.
Great stuff.
Bye. Bye.